The title of this PowerPoint is Teaching the Alphabet. The literacy term that we use when we connect sounds to the letters is called the alphabetic principle. Teaching the names of the letters. Phonemic awareness is the first step in learning to read, and you've spent an entire module learning about that. When students can differentiate between sounds, they're ready now to connect the sound to the grapheme or the letter symbol that we use. During phonemic awareness instruction, it's an accepted strategy to also introduce the symbol, but the emphasis should be on the sound. This combination of a letter symbol with a sound or sounds is called the alphabetic principle. It's a little bit like a code that they're learning, the sounds that attach to that specific symbol. The alphabetic principle. The basic idea that written language is a code in which letters represent the sounds in spoken words. There's a predictable relationship between written letters and spoken sounds. The alphabets in other languages might differ from English, but there is a relationship between their written symbols and the sounds as well. In what order should the letters be taught? There are different ways that people approach this. One thing we know for sure: we want to avoid teaching the letters in ABC order or doing a letter per week. That's a system that we used quite a few years ago, and if you think about with 26 letters, it can take 26 weeks of the school year to get through all of the letters. Follow the reading curriculum used by your district to provide continuity for the student. There is usually a way that they have designed their curriculum, which order to teach the letters and for specific reasons. Teach the letters that are distinct first. Some letter names are a close match to the letter sound. This is helpful to a new reader. So for example, the letter D, when you say it, makes the d sound. And the letter M makes that sound. And the T makes a t sound. Those are easy for them to attach because they are so similar. Avoid teaching letters and sounds that are similar and articulated in the same place of the mouth at the same time. It's more difficult for them to differentiate between those. So for example, the M and the N. If we listen to the M and the N, and if you look in a mirror at the way your mouth is, those sounds are both articulated right in the front of your mouth. If we all think about short E and short I, again, if you look at your mouth in the mirror or just feel it with your hands, you can tell there's very little difference in the shape of your mouth when you are saying those, which makes those more difficult. Other examples, the sounds for P and B and M and N are articulated in the front of the mouth using the lips. There's very little difference in the mouth movement. Try it. Get a mirror, look into it, and just look at how your mouth works on those different sounds. For students who are having trouble pronouncing the sounds, they often work with a speech pathologist, and that's what they're working on, is forming their mouth correctly. Uppercase or lowercase first? There are differing opinions for which to teach first. Here's some reasons for teaching uppercase first. The uppercase letters have more visual information. The letters are more unique in how we form them. They're more linear with more distinct shapes. Look at a list of the uppercase letters, and you can see there's a lot of straight lines, angled lines with some curved lines, but there aren't as many that look similar. Uppercase letters are typically easier for the children to write as well, which is why they often come to school writing their names in all capital letters. Many children come to school recognizing and writing some uppercase letters. The lowercase they're less familiar with. Reasons for introducing the lowercase letters first. When reading text, more lowercase letters are encountered. The uppercase letters are the first word or proper nouns. When beginning to combine the letters to make and write words, lowercase letters are typically used. What about teaching both at the same time? So if you're teaching uppercase M, also teach lowercase m. Some people advocate that teaching as well, so that it is one process and the student immediately connects them as the same letter. The bottom line, follow the district guidelines if there are any. Otherwise, see what works best for you and for your students as you try this. Multisensory approach to teaching the letter names and their sounds. Most curriculum utilizes visual and auditory strategies. When you can add more senses, it can be beneficial. Anytime we can add writing, visual, hearing, touching. It just helps the brain to make those pathways stronger. In addition to seeing and saying a letter name and sound, add the tactile or kinesthetic, so touch and some movement. The body movement helps to imprint the information on the brain, and it's fun for students as they memorize the letters and the sounds. It's amazing how sometimes if they can't remember the name of the letter or the sound, if they draw the letter on paper or draw it in the air, they will remember the name of the letter or sound. Here are some strategies you can try. Have the kids draw the letters in the air as they say the letter name and then the letter sound. They think that's fun and it helps them to visualize the shape. They can also draw them on each other's backs. Trace sandpaper letters with their fingers while saying the letter name and then the letter sound. Write the letters in sand, shaving cream, salt, cornmeal on paper with their finger or their stylus. Say the letter name and then the sound. For some students, they don't like the feel of sand or shaving cream. Just find another way to do that they can still participate. They can put on some type of a glove, or they can just do it with their fingers on paper. You can see we're also having them be sure that they trace the shape of the letter, say the sound, and say the letter name each time. You can use Play-Doh or Wiki sticks to form the shapes of the letters. A fun one is to have the students work in teams to form the letters with their bodies so they can lay down on the carpet and then take a picture and display the body alphabet on the wall. Read lots of different alphabet books. Be sure that the book uses pictures and words that reinforce the letter sound. Some alphabet books are structured just to teach you about something. So for instance, like a farm ABC, there may be the letter A, and they're teaching you about animals rather than the letter A and the sound. You can string plastic letters on strings. You can purchase these little plastic letters, so it's just like making a necklace of their name or other words that they know. Have them match upper and lowercase magnetic letters. Form their names with the magnetic letters. Write their name on cardstock or a nameplate and then have them decorate each of the letters. Or use whiteboards to practice writing the letters. This is the beginning of phonics. When they're starting to map those letter symbols with the sounds, it's such an important step. They can't learn to read unless they can do both things. It really isn't even necessary to know the letter names to read. Some countries don't even teach the letter names, but they do need to know the sounds associated with the symbols. I think it's just really helpful to be able to identify the symbols by a name, considering that some letters can make more than one sound.